Morning, all. Well, it's still morning here, anyways. So news of the day video for all you fine people for Saturday, January the 6th, 2024. And of course, for Chicago fans, last night, while I was enjoying the wrestling, they weren't enjoying what they were watching on the ice. Not just via the loss, but via who gets hurt. So, Connor Bedard is on the IR today. The expectation is it'll probably be about 6 weeks that he's going to miss. It's a broken jaw. So it was bad. They knew right away it was bad. He immediately left the ice, and fighting breaks out after that. It was an open ice hit from Brendan Smith. It's an open ice hit. From what I saw there, I was like, yeah, that's an open ice hit. I didn't see anything inherently dirty there. I know that people were upset. It's Bedard. I understand totally the upset. I guarantee you there's people at the NHL itself that were not happy to see that because, of course, the All Star game's in a few weeks, and now it's pretty clear Bedard's not going to be able to play in it. So that takes place, and then Nick Foligno, not to be forgotten, also has a fractured finger coming out of last night's game. So he's going to be out for a while himself. And without Bedard, without Foligno, the Hawks had to pick somebody up, so they acquired Rem Pitlick from the Pittsburgh Penguins for a conditional 2026 seventh round draft pick. Rem Pitlick's a guy who can play in the NHL. He can play an offensive role, but Chicago definitely a team that is short on offensive players, and without Bedard, they're going to have a hard time racking up more than 2 goals in any given game. At least that's what I think will happen. You never know; things can be surprising in the National Hockey League. But yeah, acquiring Pitlick, this is a chance for Pitlick maybe to earn himself a job in the National Hockey League where he can stay up. But it's sad news with both Bedard and Foligno being out. Yeah, they're going to be really hard pressed to win games without those players. Yesterday, of course, the United States became gold medalists. They beat Sweden 6-2 in the final, so there wasn't really any tension in that final. And the U.S. did what was expected. They were expected to be the best team in the tournament. They absolutely were. A lot of NHL upside players there. Rutger McGroarty sticks out, of course, as the team captain, who is Winnipeg Jets property. So the Winnipeg Jets currently residing at first overall. Oh, look, that's a really nice way to transition to the next item on the board. And they're number one in the league entering today's action. The funny thing is, I saw an article a couple days ago, it might have been on TSN, asking whether or not Winnipeg's an elite team. I always find this an interesting discussion during the season because we'll always talk about, well, this team's elite more than this team's elite. This team's really super elite. This team's elite status isn't quite as elite as this team's elite status. And then in the playoffs, all those elite teams can go out in the first round. Like it's a crazy discussion to have. I think the team that's elite is the one that holds up the Stanley Cup in June. But I'm crazy, so just call me crazy then. I think Winnipeg's a very good team. I think once you get into terms like elite, what is elite? Like, is that just you have all four lines, all six defensemen, and all both goaltenders going? I guess, or does it have to be? Can you be elite with a great top six and a great top four on the blue line? Maybe. Anyways, whole other discussion for a whole other time. But it's a crazy discussion to have because how do you measure that during the regular season? Matt Zuccarello is expected to return tonight for the Minnesota Wild. He's going to play on a line with Boldy and Rossi, and gave a good soundbite to reporters as well. Michael Russo reporting that he said that missing the last, I think it's 9 games he's been out, this means that his teammates have had to work harder while he's been gone, so he won't have to work as hard when he comes back. Which I like that philosophy. I think that's great. And I think with everything that Minnesota Wild are going through, that kind of sense of humor and ability to kind of, make a joke when everybody's hurt, I think that's important. So Zuccarello being back is good news. Again, Kaprizov shouldn't be out long term. It's only supposed to be, I think it's another week from now he could be back. So for Minnesota, as dark as things are right now, it can turn around quickly. You get Zuccarello back, and then if, say, in a week or 10 days, you get Kaprizov back, yeah, that should absolutely help them. And in that same game between Minnesota and Columbus, Adam Boqvist is returning for the Blue Jackets tonight. The Blue Jackets are a team to keep an eye on because everybody's looking for defensemen, and it feels like Columbus does have a lot of defensemen when they're healthy. And Boqvist is one that's been in and out of the lineup, not just via injury, but he's been a healthy scratch at times. So him being back in the lineup is a good way to get his value up in case of a potential trade, or maybe he plays well and you decide to move somebody else. So we shall see. Speaking of defensemen making returns, Adam Pelech could play tonight versus Vegas. At the time I'm recording this, that has not been confirmed as of yet, but it sounds like there's a good chance he's going to play. The Islanders, of course, keeping their heads above water while they've been without Pulock, without Pelech, and various others. But without both those defensemen, it is remarkable that they've been able to keep their record decent and stay in and around a playoff spot in the National Hockey League. So getting Pelech back would be a huge boost to that team. Good news for Canucks fans coming out of the tournament. Lekkerimaki may not have won the gold medal, but he does win the World Juniors MVP. Had 7 goals, 3 assists in the tournament. As always, I will caution to take the tournament with a bit of a grain of salt because it's indicative of, yes, there's certain players that are really good players that excel at the World Juniors. It does not necessarily translate into NHL success. However, it doesn't mean they're going to be a flop at the NHL level either. So for Lekkerimaki, it's now a matter of where he fits into the Canucks plans for next season. But this is a pick that was seen as a bit of a marginal pick at the time they made it, and a pick that didn't seem to be doing very well his first year after that draft. But now, yeah, fantastic. So the Canucks are looking good with the Lekkerimaki pick, and of course he's a potential top 6 forward soon, maybe as soon as next season. So yeah, we'll see where he slots in for a Vancouver team that all of a sudden there's all kinds of praise for their young players, and their prospects pool doesn't look as bad as it did, say, a couple years ago, and the team's doing really well in the standings. So it's an interesting time right now as a Canuck fan. Speaking of which, the game tonight between the Hughes brothers may be without one of the Hughes brothers. Jack Hughes, who exited last night's game, is expected to potentially miss this one. He's seen as questionable for this game last I saw. So I'm not going to put it in the title because I don't know for sure that Jack Hughes isn't going to play. But that'd be a shame if he didn't. Again, though, from a Canuck fan perspective, it's probably better if he rests up and makes sure he's good to go next game. You don't want to be too careful. So, like Victor Hedman for Tampa Bay earlier in the season, maybe just keep him out just for tonight. Just make sure he's good to go for the next game, because Canuck fans want to make sure that the opposition, everybody's healthy. You wouldn't want to see a situation where a minor injury gets worse. So you got to keep him out if you can. Anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.